So here is a pickup that I had on Friday. I went out again this weekend, had a really great weekend. Went to some garage sales, went to my Alpha flea market again, primary flea market I'll call it now. And I also went to a clearance sale. So this is actually, this one is at a going out of business sale that I went to see if I could find some stuff. Um, but they also had brought, some stuff from home. So they're just having a sale in the garage behind the business, and lo and behold, I found the Wii. Looked through it, and looked pretty good. The controllers are probably the best pickup. Getting two controllers there, um, and both had the backs in there as well, which is very cool. Um, so I'm happy to get some Wii Motion Plus. As many Wii's as I've picked up, which at this point it's got to be like 10, 12 Wii's total, because I just keep finding them. I had gotten like no Motion Plus, like one recently I got. So happy to finally get some more. This has two of the Energizer stands. We'll see if these work. Um, I got two Nyko ones recently, and those did not work at all. I could not get them to charge the batteries. Um, so it has some of the backs for them and the little batteries. Fortunately, they had basically everything in there, which is really nice. They even had a Nyko like Wii bar, so that's very interesting. Um, one of these Wii bar, Wii sensor bars, I guess they broke, so that's junk. But it has the cables. Came with Wii Sports Resort and the Wii Sports, and the system itself is actually in good condition, so very nice. Um, Yeah, one nunchuck. I'm still picking up the Wii's. This was 15 total. They had 25 marked on it, and I asked for 15. They took it, so very happy about that. Also, I didn't mention it has a million of these things. Like, my God, there's what, six here? There's not even that many controllers, so I'm not sure how that happened. But if they're not disgusting, I guess I'll use them. Okay, so here is the pickups that I had. This is all from the my primary flea market, the Alpha flea market. I don't even know what to call it, but it's so consistent. It's so nice that I can go there. I was there recently too. It wasn't. I think it's only been more than like 3 weeks, and I went back. No, that's not true. It's been about a month. It's still consistent. Every time I go, there's stuff to pick up. The deals are good. Um, there's a few people who seem to kind of have games. Some people who just kind of have some random stuff. Maybe they'll have like a bundle. But it's so nice, and I'm finding common stuff, but also some really good stuff. This is a outdoor flea market, so it's gonna. I think that they only have two more shows before they close down for the winter, which is makes me sad because this is really where I'm getting a lot of my stuff now, and I'm kind of consistently getting some great pickups. Okay, so on the left here, the first thing I picked up was the PlayStation headphones. Um, now this is, I did read through and it needs a dongle, and I think it is missing that, but they're in really good condition. Um, they don't seem to be broken. They just have like he says it looks like it breaks. No, it's not broken. It just has some nice hinges there, but really nice headsets. I haven't had one of these before, so I might try to like order the dongle off of eBay, or maybe I'll just sell this if I don't really want it, minus dongle. If someone needs a replacement. But it came in the box too, so I thought it was really nice. They had $8 on it. The guy said, he's willing to work with me on stuff, so I went down to 5. But yeah, just missed the dongle, which is kind of a bummer, but not a big deal. So the next was actually another Wii. I'm pretty lousy with Wii's right now, I have to say. This one's really dirty. Um, yeah, really dirty. Kind of gross, but I'm sure it works. No cables, just the Wii. They had it there, Wii, with one black Wiimote missing the back. They had Need for Speed Nitro in it. Um, and she had some loose games on the table. None of it looked too great, but I did see Dragon Quest, so I asked her if I could bundle it in. And the reason I did that is because this is really scratched all to hell. I'm sure you can't see it, but um, I think that no way it works right now But I did recently get a disc resurfacer. I got the JFJ Easy Pro, so I'm gonna be able to use that on this and hopefully get a nice copy. I actually don't have it for the PS2, surprisingly, so at least I'll have a disc-only copy now. She had that out, and I asked, what do you want on the Wii, and she was like $5. I was like, oh, okay, and I was definitely gonna say yes, but she was like, oh, is that too high? I was like, no, no, that's fine. But and then I asked her if I could bundle that in, and she was fine. She was probably asking like $1 on it anyway. So the next bundles here were pretty good as well. This one was 10. Found some guy with some games. He had a Twilight Princess that he wanted like 10 for, which I don't think it, even on the Wii, I don't think it goes for very much. I think the GameCube one does. But I picked up a few PlayStation games. This was 10 for these 3 games. Ape Escape, very nice. Didn't have that. Picked up Crash Bandicoot Warped. I actually picked up a lot of Crash games this trip for some reason. I guess not a ton, but I was seeing them a lot, so I started picking them up. And this Uncharted dual pack with 1 and 2 in there. I have them already, but I know that usually the dual packs and pack sets and stuff tend to go up in the future, and I think it's kind of cool to collect just to have. So this one's in good condition. It's got both the discs, so I went for it. The next 2 actually was another person who just had a few random games, but they also had this Grand Theft Auto 5 Limited Strategy Guide. This actually is pretty cool. I'd never seen this before. I guess it came with probably the big box set or something, but pretty cool. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep it or if I'm going to try to sell it, but I don't know how much it goes for, so it might not go for a lot. And they also had this Call of Duty 3 Special Edition, so I picked it up. Kind of just got the manual loose in there, but it has like a little bonus disc in there, so that's cool. Another one, it's like I already had it, but special edition, why not? I paid the prices on there, 5 and 3. So the next stuff was actually the most unique stuff. I was pretty amazed to see this, but I actually saw some Sega CD games. There was only 3. The first was Sewer Shark in a case, and it has them kind of a manual here. I don't know if this is a pack-in or what, but kind of a weird looking game. But that was pretty cool, and I also picked up a full copy of Prize Fighter. Looks kind of interesting, like black and white video, but still the game. So yeah, that has 2 discs there. The manual in the front. But those are my first Sega CD games. I don't have a Sega CD, but I was still amazed to see it. The third one was like just a football game, like NFL something. So I didn't pick it up. I don't know if those are even worth anything. I know that not all Sega CD games are, but it was still cool to see, and they were $5 a piece, so I picked them up. Just because I never see Sega CD, so why not? Might as well, right? So I picked those up. They also had a big stack of Nintendo Powers. I'll just kind of quickly go through, but I counted they had 11, and the guy said, "Oh, they're 50 cents a piece." So I was just like, "Can I take all 11 for 5?" And he said, "Fine," which is just 50 cents off. So I thought it was pretty good, and they're in decent condition. There's a Metroid one. This one's got Rogue Squadron 2 on it. Kirby 64. So this looks like a lot of N64 era. There's Rogue Squadron. That looks so weird. The head there looks just so weird inside of it. I don't know why. Hey, Pikmin 2. So this is like Game Boy Advance. Or Game Boy Advance GameCube. Majora's Mask. Very nice. Hopefully I can get that off. Wind Waker. Right there. So yeah, some really cool issues here. 2 Towers. I didn't check if these have like all the posters. I think everyone's supposed to come with a poster, but I haven't really checked to see if they all do. Star Fox Assault. Ooh, Hybrid Heaven. Another N64 one again. and Metroid Prime. Very cool. So yeah, anyway, I haven't really started collecting magazines, but I do have. I bought a copy of the last Nintendo Power, because I used to have Nintendo Power as a kid. Um, we definitely had Nintendo Powers for quite a long time. I'm sure all my original magazines are in a landfill somewhere, but I figured why not? 50 cents a piece. And there was looked like some interesting copies there, so picked them up. Um, Not sure if I'll collect them, but it's still cool. Okay, so on to kind of the majority of the games that I picked up. Some interesting stuff in here and good prices, but this is the kind of stuff that, I was just going table to table and finding these things, so it was very cool. Um, the first two here are $4 for two Crash games. Now, this Crash Tag Team Racing, is sealed. I was actually really surprised to see it. I picked it up and didn't even realize it at first. I went to try to open it, and I was like, "Oh, wait a minute!" And it looks to be legitimate. I'm not an expert, but looks pretty good. I won't keep it because I don't want to keep sealed, but still cool to find. And there's also Crash Nitro Kart. And I think these were part of a set because it does say that at the bottom. But very cool. And $2 a piece. Very good prices for some Crash games. I think so anyway. The next stack was actually like an older guy who looked like he had a bunch of like tools and stuff, but then I walked around the corner and he had a table with just a bunch of Nintendo games. So picked out 5 here. And he had like 5 on some of them and 8 on a few. But when I picked out 5, I was like, would you do 20? But I picked up 007, The World's Not Enough, Top Gear Overdrive, RC Pro-Am. He was telling me that this is a really good game, so I'll take his word on it. But yeah, you can see it had 8 on it. I was able to get it for 4 basically. Rambo, yeah, I had 8 too. And Bionic Commando. So very cool. I keep finding NES. I was actually trying to kind of slow down on NES because I'm like around 120 at this point. Um, and I wanted to start picking up more SNES and N64, but I'm still finding it. I'm not going to pass it up if it's cheap. So this next one was actually from this guy. I think is kind of the guy I hit from every time I go in the first time. He's the first person I hit because he's like near the entrance. Um, and he always has games. He always has a bunch of stuff, and he's a really nice guy. He works with me on the price. And once again, he had some more games, had some stuff I didn't have, so picked it up. $2 a piece, so I paid 6 actually here. Mech Warrior 2, very cool. Happy to pick up some PS1. Blood Omen 2, didn't have that. Blade 2, this one's kind of dirty on the cover, but I'm hoping I can clean that up. And the Street Fighter Anniversary Collection actually is empty, which is kind of a bummer. But it also has the Xbox Street Fighter. It had like a Dynasty Gundam game in it. But yeah, it was weird. He was actually telling me, oh, well, I might want 10 for Street Fighter, and then I opened it up and saw, oh, look, it not only has the wrong manual, it also had the wrong game. But after that, he said, oh, well, I'm just going to throw this away because I know I don't have the disc anywhere. And I was like, oh, well, can I have it? And he said yes. So, nice guy, like I said, giving me that case for free. Of course, I have a small stack of cases I'm hoping to, complete. But I think that's always a good idea so you can try to piece stuff together. Especially if it's free. Why not? The last stack of stuff was Bad Buy. Um, I saw a video that one of the Harry Potters was worth something, and there is like it's Order of the Phoenix, I think is the one. I could have sworn it was Goblet of Fire. Because I picked up Quidditch World Cup, Chamber of Secrets. Uh, there's the Goblet of Fire, Prisoner of Azkaban. The guy just said $5 for the 4, so I was like, oh well, I think that one's the one that's worth something, so I'll just pick up all 5 or all 4. But it's not. Not a big deal, obviously. $5 for 4 games is still a good price. I'll probably just trade them in though. So here's the other part of my weekend trip. The stuff on the bottom here I got from a clearance sale from it was half price books, which is like a mostly obviously books trade in store, but they always have video games. They're usually pretty overpriced from what I've always seen when I went in there, but they usually have a small selection, just a small part of the store. But this was going on at the fairgrounds in Indiana, State Fairgrounds. So I wanted to check it out. I went on the second day, so I'm sure I missed stuff. But when I went, it was a situation where it was like basically this is exactly what I expected, because it was literally a table of just stacks and stacks of games. But it was basically like 3 or 4 tables full of these boxes of games, and it was mostly common stuff, a lot of sports games, Guitar Hero stuff, things like that. What you'd expect. Oh, here's all their common stuff. But they had $2 on all the games, which is awesome. So I just went through the stacks one by one, picked out stuff that common stuff that I wanted for my collection. So here's what I picked up from that. The first pickup was Grand Theft Auto Episodes from Liberty City, PS3. Rockstar Games, Red Dead Redemption. Didn't have that yet, actually. Haven't played it. Shrek, Smash and Crash Racing. Nicktoons Unite. Interesting beat 'em up looking thing. Shrek the Third. Shrek Super Slam. Can you believe that no one wanted all the Shrek games? Crazy. I know, right? The Scorpion King. And Resident Evil 4 for the Wii. I thought was kind of an interesting find. I realize that Resident Evil 4 doesn't go for crazy amount, but still interesting just to see there. Got lucky and they had a Wii Sports in there. Always a good pickup. It was a bundler. Grand Tour Racing. I was happy to see some PS1 games. This is Tiger Shark. Pro Pinball, Fantastic Journey. I actually just got a disc of this. It came in like a case for like WCW or something. It was just in there, but might as well pick it up. Battle Tanks Global Assault. Missile Command. And Mass Destruction. So yeah, like I said, nothing super crazy in there, but a lot of good stuff to add to, beef up those PlayStation collections that I'm trying to do. So, and $2 a piece. I was excited to see that, so very cool, very cool. The next stuff at the top, this is actually just all trade-in stuff. I saved my extra games, stuff that usually I'm going like if it's worth $10 or more, I'll try to sell it on eBay, but if it's not, then I'll just save it to trade in. So I've started to do that because if you saw recently, I got a big pawn shop pickup, and I had a lot of PS4 and Xbox One games from that aren't worth too much. So I traded them in at 2 different stores actually, and got some pickups. So I'll kind of show you what I got here. I'm kind of focusing on when I do this to either get box games or get some like RPGs or something for PlayStation. So that's kind of the 2 things that I trade in to look for. So the first thing I got was Last Action Hero. It's just box and game. It had $8 on it. I thought it was pretty amazing for a box game. It's in good condition, pushed in a little on the front. Mission Impossible. This one has the manual for $15. Very nice. I did just pick up the cartridge itself, like just like a week ago. So now I have it complete. And one more expensive one, South Park. Very cool. This one has the manual as well. But these are all in pretty good condition. This one they gave me a little protector for. But yeah, definitely happy to add some more boxes to my collection. I've found a few on eBay. When I find them cheap, I'll pick them up, but probably at like 20 or 30 boxes at this point. So slowly building that collection. It's just hard to find, obviously. So that's the hardest thing. Um, Picked up Shadow Madness. This looks like a little interesting RPG type game. I hadn't heard of it before, so I picked it up. It was only 10, and it has like a demo disc and 2 discs, so that was interesting. Um, Thought why not? And was looking to find a copy of Drakengard. I was happy to find that. I've been wanting to play Drakengard again, so I was happy to see that for 20 bucks. Definitely was picking that up. I actually still have more to trade in, but I used most of my trade-in credit um, from what I traded in. But it's worth it. I mean, it's the idea is that if I'm picking up stuff, I can sell the stuff that's a little more, try to make up some of the costs, and then the trade-in stuff is usually free. I also wanted to mention that it's October, and this is actually technically like 1 year anniversary of me collecting games. And I think I've done pretty well for a year. You know, starting out, I had just a few things that I'd kept over the years, some of my favorite games, um, and like a few consoles, just here and there, in a tub. But when I started to, when I, it happened because I started to want to collect because I went on a marathon of watching American Pickers, which it's a really good show. But it made me kind of get that feeling of like, oh man, I want to go out there and try to find stuff. And I was thinking, well, what would I get? And of course, it was video games. I was like, man, I wouldn't mind having a nice shelf of games. Started looking up stuff on YouTube. Like I found the Game Chasers first. Kind of watched their stuff because they're also kind of like were inspired by American Pickers. You know, I found channels like Sick Cooper and Reed Bean, CGR, stuff like that. You know, it really got me into the mood of like, you know, I want to collect. So hopefully you'll see kind of what I have now. I've done pretty well. Since I started, I started and I was like, well, I'm just going to pick up everything. If I see it for cheap, I'm going to pick it up. Of course, I've gone down from that. You know, I basically PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, NES, SNES, N64 are kind of my main five where I'm going to pick up just about everything. Probably not sports, but everything else I'm going to try to pick up. And everything else, the other systems, I'm just picking up stuff that I want to play or stuff that looks interesting. Um, so that's kind of how I'm going right now. And I think I've done pretty well. I found some really interesting stuff. Um, PlayStation 2, you know, is just, you know, out of control. I'm above 400 games for that, and NES is doing really well. Um, those are kind of the main ones, but I'm working on the other ones, and I've gotten a lot of systems. I recently picked up a Saturn and a Wii U and a PlayStation Vita, so I'm happy to finally get those systems that you know I can pick up games for them as well. Yeah, I just wanted to mention that this is, you know, technically I'm now a 1 year collector, and I think I've done pretty decent.